then.
So this is a woman that I see, and she does a lot of working in the yard or the garden, and she kind of has like a hat with some kind of fine mosquito netting hanging from it, and her hair is it's coiffed like it's long, but it's coiffed and it's hung in the like on the sides, but then it's in the cheek and the back. So it's kind of long on the sides, and then it's pulled in a knot in the back. But I get the feeling of a woman who like to maybe work in the garden or like to oversee the land here, the property, and she might have even ridden a horse, because I kind of see her with other people with like horses. And there's also like bees or a beekeep here, but the reason why she has this mosquito netting could be the beekeep or it could be just to prevent bugs and while she's walking in the yard, because it's a very fine netting. And I get that she might have had even something wrong with her eye on the right side, so I feel like she might have had to wear glasses of some sort, but especially because of that particular eye. She might have had glaucoma like early, so there's something to do with her eyes. And she also had, I feel like another sister around her, another female equal to her around in this house. And this woman would have been senior to her, so more elderly and more elegantly dressed. So not someone who would have gotten her hands dirty like this woman did. So someone was, and I kind of feel maybe with this woman, I don't know how old she was at the time, because I see two different time periods. So I want to say maybe about the 1920s, but then I also get this sort of 1890s feel, somewhere around that as well. I don't know, the turn of the century, more going into the 19th century. So I kind of get that feeling too. And I'm just drawing this conclusion, by the way, that I see them dressed. The workmen that I see here, I see several workmen, but it's hard to date them because they wear just working attire. So it's kind of hard to date simple working attire. But I'm going to, and of course the kids upstairs, especially, I don't see the little girl, I see the doll, and I'll show you the doll, and here's the doll. So the doll has some little like gold ringlets, or blonde ringlets with big glass eyes and a little mouth. But I see the doll, I don't see the little girl, because the little girl showed me the doll. And I seen her in the car driving up here, the doll. This is the same woman. You can see she's got on a hat, so she's been working out in the yard with the same, she just pulls her hair back with a similar hat. I think she had many hats to wear to do different, various things. So I started drawing her here, and then she became bigger here. So that's all I'm getting for right now, except for the workmen that I see on the property. And one of the workmen in particular has to do with working on the river. Okay, so there's a river association, there's a water, even though I feel like this house isn't right on the water, I feel like there is a big water connection to this house. That's important, so. Okay, so this is the little girl. That I see on the stairway. I also seen a woman whom I'm going to draw in a moment, but she's looking up. She's standing at the foot of the stairs looking up. And this is a coat with the buttons. This is a ruffle. She's got a big collar. It's blue, almost like a navy, but not quite. This is a hair ringlet right here, and this is her hair bows, sort of like tying up some of the curls, and she's got a little bit of like a lace or something hanging here, and she's holding a little drawstring purse. I think she's getting ready to go somewhere, and she's looking upstairs because someone is calling her, but she's at the foot of the stairs. And these are some little boots. They're like little black boots, and they do have a flap with some little buttons. They are low heel. And I get that she's wearing something like a pantaloon, but it's cut straight. And I get the feeling that she hates these things. But this also protects her legs. Like, you don't want to show any, leg. You don't show skin. So, so she doesn't like these. These are cotton. So anyway, and I also feel her mother is also standing about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out on the 6th step from the bottom, and she seems to be like wearing clothes that are expecting, like she's expecting another child. Okay, so I'm sitting here, and I just feel like I have goosebumps all over my body. As I'm looking across the room, there's this gorgeous panels that are under the stairway, and I kind of feel like that's exactly what that is, a coat closet that's under the stairway, and there is I see people that would have, men who would have come through this foyer, and they would have not always been Americans, and meaning I feel like there are European men. I feel like there's somebody from other countries that walk across this room, and I kind of feel that it's they spoke different languages. So, and also I get the feeling of boats again, or the feeling of being on the water. So I'm not sure this is the profession of some of these men that would have walked across this gallery entrance. And I also get the feeling of horses. So I'm not sure if maybe somebody would have rode a horse, and then if they would have just come in through here, and they would have taken off a jacket and boots, and that's what I'm getting the feeling of horses. It feels like boots or like a riding cane. I'm not familiar with riding horses, but something to do with horse attire that would have also gone in that closet. So I kind of get that feeling. But this, to me, a meeting place. This is where they would have greeted a lot of people right here, and this would have been the room. I feel like it would have been a little bit more opulent, so sort of like showing off what they had. So not just sort of functional, but I feel that they would have had paintings on the wall here, and something about a boat. Again, it would have been like a picture of a boat that would have hung on the wall somewhere here. And so this would have been a room also of conversation even before you went in the house. So I kind of feel like a meeting or conversation room too. So this is a bedroom, but this is where I feel the lady the most, the lady that I seen on the stairs that was the mother to the little girl. But this was also, I feel like, a room that was for an older woman that would have been maybe a sister or an aunt, someone that was part of the family, but coming to stay or to visit. And as I go through this way, okay. So this, I see a young black woman, sort of like maybe early 20s or deep. She's very petite. She even seems a little shorter than me. And but this little black woman speaks French. So, and she walks through here, right there, and she's wearing a simple dark green dress. It seems like it's kind of cold outside because it seems like she's got some cotton white undergarments and thick white stockings on that are kind of yellowed, but she's got a white cloth around her head, but it buttons to the side. So again, I kind of get this feeling, because her skirts don't reach the floor, that again we're talking about more around the the 1900 era to 1920s or even early 30s. So that's who I see walking here. There's a lot of energy up here. Yeah, I definitely feel it up here. But I'm happy. It's a happy kind of energy. And there we got some dolls. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh my, look at this bed. Okay, somebody put little glowy eyes in the doll. How lovely. This seems to be up here. I feel like this room was let out at some point. So meaning, I don't know if these people fell upon hard times and they might have rented out a room later on in time, because I get different things. I get like maybe there would have been children up here, but then I get servants or some of the children. But then I get a gentleman. So whether he rented out this room or whether he was a relative, I'm not certain. I also feel kind of sick up here as well. So I don't know if someone was ill and contracted some kind of something to do with their throat. So I've got so many different people from so many different time periods up here. But I also get a man who would have been like a surveyor, someone who would have had almost like he's looking, like he's surveying the land, and he's got equipment with him. And I see him in this room, and like I said, I just feel like he's one of the people that would have occupied this space up here. As well as, I feel like this might have been a sick room as well, and something to do with the throat, because my throat feels very tight and very constricting, so I almost feel like there's something wrong with my throat, and though I've been put up here to be away from the rest of the household. So I think we'll move on. All right, so when I was driving over here, in my head I kept seeing a doll with blonde ringlets, and then of course it was the first thing that I drew when I sat downstairs. You can see I've got a little doll with gold ringlets, and she doesn't have that bow, because I feel like there was another doll up here. but still a sense of little girls up here, little girl spirits. So perhaps the owner put these dolls up here for that purpose, to attract the little girl, two little girl spirits in particular that I feel are up here. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to just, so I'm just kind of overwhelmed with this feeling of sadness and aloneness as I'm standing here looking out of this window, and I feel like there would have been a chair or a bench or something of that sort here. And in fact, it wasn't a chair, it wasn't a bench. It seemed like an old-fashioned kind of wheelchair of some sort. It would have had something under my feet, and I would have had some bed sores, and I'm just not happy. I feel it's a male, and I'm in my, robe, and I'm just like feeling happy, or I'm longing. I'm feeling unhappy and longing for something, but I'm ill as I'm up here, and I feel like I wasn't the only person who was ill and who was also in this spot looking out of this window. So I'm in I love this room. It's very masculine looking, and I think that serves its purpose. I do feel like this was used as a multi-purpose room. I do see gentlemen sitting in this particular area, but I also, because of that door, I do feel like, and this feels like an older time period, by the way that they're dressed, and I feel that this was again where someone might have stayed in a bed, somebody might have been sick, and that door is kind of open so they could get some air. Also, they didn't want those kind of germs and things like that sick to be trapped in here, so they would have opened up that door. But I do see a woman walking through this room, and her hair is done in curls, and in the back it's just a lot of bows. It's like a lot of ribbons that are kind of holding up her hair in place in the back. And now she has a long dress, and she would be addressing another, so she was talking to another man up here, and I feel like she was addressing him, meaning that he was a guest. And that was another way of being up here with him, because she couldn't be with him behind any kind of closed-in area, because it wouldn't have been seemly to do so. So this was where if you had guests, they could come and speak, and it was open, so that way you had no privacy with someone of the opposite sex in that way. I do feel the children running through this area, but they were not permitted here. I get that they were fussed because that door could be open at any time, and they were afraid of them going out and falling or getting into trouble out on the balcony, so they weren't permitted right here, even though sometimes they were here. And, again, I feel commerce, trade, and I feel like gentlemen are doing business in this particular area of the house. And I think that's all for the moment. So I feel like this is the busiest part of the house, because I kind of feel that there's young teenage people, or people, I want to say young teenagers and young boy in particular, there might have been more than one, coming up so swiftly up these stairs. So people about, young, and this would have been servants, this would have been children, and this would have been children that also worked. So not all of them were little, the children of the owners of the house, but these would have been children that were also working here. So hauling firewood, water, bringing down linens. So this would have been like a hub, this little area here. And as we come here, I'm very happy. I'm happier. I have to say this is the happier place I've been upstairs. Yeah. How lovely this curved wall and the furniture. I feel like I'm a woman, and I feel like I have a gentleman who, I feel like I'm newly married, and I'm in this room, and I feel female, and I feel like I'm either getting ready for a wedding, so I'm getting dressed. It's a very happy occasion, but I definitely feel like I'm the female who's getting married, and I'm staying in this room. And I also feel like I'm happy here because I'm in the middle of it all with the house being close to the hub. So I'm like in the middle of, I feel like the other people are older and they're stuffy in their ways, and I don't like being around them. I'm a young woman and I like being around all these children and the help and this hub of activity, because it makes me feel like I'm part of it. I don't want to be with the old, maid and aunt in the other part of the house. So, yeah. So this is the happiest room I've been into up here. So we're up here in what I believe to be an attic room, and it doesn't feel spooky or anything to me. I do feel, I feel like this would have been servants that would have stayed up here. And I feel the children of servants, I know people think about the children of the homeowners, but I feel like the servants would have had children up here too. But I also feel a couple of elderly people that would have been up here too. I feel like someone died up here. So this person might, I feel like one person did die. It might have been one of the sick people that I felt earlier. And I feel a scurry of activity up here. So there would have been ill people up here as well. And as well as I feel children running around, young people running around of various stations of the household up here. But it doesn't feel spooky to me, because it doesn't, I feel like I died and I left my body. I feel that it lifted up, and I feel a sense of lightning after that happened, because it cleared the air up here after this person passed. So it feels okay. It's just, there is more activity up here. Give me a few minutes. Kind of just want to protect myself too.
Okay.
So I say that I'm filled with divine white light, and this divine white light goes into my work field, and I have a blue light around me which protects me from anything negative, any kind of negative energy. The Hiroshita Matherne said that the Hiroshita was the Nesa Hiroshita. This is my guide coming through. So she's kind of acting as my buffer, you know. So there's a black woman, elderly, who's over there, and over there there's a black elderly man. But there's a couple of little kids up here, and I'm in the center of the room, but I'm dying. I'm elderly and I'm dying. So someone had a bed here, and someone died here in the middle of the room on a cot. And then there's like a bandage around people's heads up here too. There's a couple of people. So I don't know whether there's a war, soldiers, something like that as well. Or someone got hurt. And you know, there's so many things that happen, but someone got hurt on the property itself. So someone got hit in the head. There's a bandage. But I want to say this person was a soldier. And I just don't like, there's a man over there I don't like. So he's keeping his distance from me. But this is a black man too. So I don't know exactly what time period, because we've got several going on. But it's just, there is a feeling of death up here for me. And there's a soldiering kind of thing. And there's people of different races, so it's not only white people, it's not only black people that's here. So I want to say that there is another ethnic kind of people up here. So,
any names come to you?
Nothing that stands out, like that's really different. It's just a James and a Eugene or Eugenia. Eugene. I think there's a Eugene and there's someone. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So it's either they're very in your face right now, so I'm kind of getting them back off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
I feel them.
Yeah. Yeah,
they're strong. I know you're. I know.
So, just getting them to back off.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. She says that's enough of all this. They're not gonna go.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go. They're living out their stuff.
We're in their space.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Okay.
It's like there's nothing to be done here. She's a healer, so she's like, there's nothing to be done here.
Okay.
You know, so.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go back downstairs.
There we go.
Oh,
There we go.
wow.
There you go. Pull all the energy.
Oh, wow.
Pull all the energy and turn them off. So you can pull the energy to turn them off, and you can give energy back to turn them on.
Here we go.
Good job.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
So you learn how to use the green lights. Can you turn them back on? You have to give the energy back to turn them back on.
It went all the way down.
Yeah, I
There we
think
go.
you're trying.
Off.
Good job. We are very impressed. Can you turn them back on? You have to give them a little bit of energy to turn them back on. Don't draw from it. Although, do you went in there and touched it? It would be freezing cold. Remember the last time it drew the energy and turned it off? That little laser was freezing cold when you touched it. It was so weird. Did you ever hear that?
I heard it.
It was like a whistle. Okay, I'm going to exit the room, and you can make the green lights come brighter.
Just be careful going down those stairs.
I will, darling.
I'm gonna touch that laser and see if it's freezing cold.
Mm-hmm. Still has a tiny bit of juice. You can see it on that door.
I'm coming in the room with you.
Oh God, there's no
Okay.
more green. I'm doing one step at a time.
Look, I'm gonna put this right here too. You can play with this little toy.
I'm gonna move this.